Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for Natural Scotland Week. This is the week where we learn all about our natural world and how important everything in it is. So today, we're going to learn about some of the most beautiful places on Earth, and Scotland is one of them. Scotland is beautiful. It's home to some incredible nature and some of the most beautiful places on Earth. We're very lucky to live here. And not only that, Scotland has some amazing trees. Did you know that Scotland is home to the oldest tree in Europe? How old do you think that tree might be? I'll give you a hint. It's older than me. Maybe you'd like to have a guess in the chat to think about how old this tree might be. Does anyone have any guesses? Oh, some classes are saying 1 billion years old or 1 million, slightly younger than that. 150 years or 3,000 years? Lots and lots of different guesses. Some of you are actually quite close. And some are way off. Some are saying, let's see, 100 years old, 900 years old. All of those are pretty old. When you think about how long a human lives, that seems very, very old to us, doesn't it? 900 years old seems very, very old to us. But did you know that Scotland's oldest tree is over 5,000 years old? I'm just going to turn up my volume a little bit because I can see that some people are having trouble hearing me. There we go. 5,000 years old. It's a tree, a different kind of yew tree. Yew is a kind of tree. And it's more than 5,000 years old. That's amazing to me that a tree could live that long. Think of all of the things that tree will have seen. That's amazing. Our tallest tree is a Douglas fir tree. That's another kind of tree. And it's more than 65 meters tall. Now, let's think of something tall that we could measure that tree with. I know. How many giraffes do you think would have to stand on each other's heads to reach all the way to the top? It's kind of funny thinking of a giraffe balancing on another giraffe's head. But if they could, how many do you think would have to stand on each other to reach all the way to the top of Scotland's tallest tree? Someone's saying 10 or 3 giraffes. It'd have to be quite a few. 65 meters is quite tall. I'm about 1.5 meters tall. So it would be half, and a giraffe is a lot taller than me. So, a lot of people saying around 10 giraffes or 15 giraffes, although one school is saying 2,000 giraffes. I think that's quite tall, maybe baby giraffes. Let's see, shall we? Let's find out. It's actually taller than 12 giraffes, all balanced on top of each other. That's pretty cool. We think Scotland's trees are amazing. So today we're going to hear a story that involves trees. I'm very excited to be joined by author and storyteller Allison Galbraith, who's going to tell us this fantastic story. So get nice and comfy for story time. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Allison for joining us today, and welcome.
Thank you, Katrina. And hello, everybody. I could see there were some issues with people's sound. I wonder if everybody can hear now. I think they've been sorted out. I hope so. Well, hello, everybody. Are you all sitting in your classrooms? And do you have the windows open today? because it's been very warm, hasn't it? So maybe you need to shake your hands out and have a wiggle in your seats or wherever you're sitting. Move your shoulders back so that you're very comfortable to listen to the story. And if you like joining in, there may be some places in this tale where you can join in. I'm going to tell you a story that is about trees, and it's about a young boy called Mikku. And Mikku came here with his family to live in Scotland from another country in Europe called Estonia. So Mikku came with his family, but it wasn't last year or even the year before. It was a very long time ago. So our story begins once upon a time, a very long time ago. Mikku and his family lived on the edge of a big woodland in the heart of Scotland. But I forgot to tell you, before I can tell you this story, I need you to do something in your classrooms. Are you all listening carefully? Could you think of the names of any trees in Scotland? What trees can you think of? I don't mean names like ours, Jemima and Dylan and Finley. No, no, not the trees name like that, but the type of tree it is. And what you need to do in your classrooms is tell your teacher if you can think of the name of any type of tree that grows in Scotland, and perhaps your teachers could choose one or two of those trees and put it into the chat. There, we have them already. You are on the ball. Mrs. Bradbury or Miss Bradbury has said a pine tree and an oak tree. Well done, Miss Bradbury's class. You were the fastest. Now we have a cherry tree. Oh, well done, apple. You're saying my favourite trees, the ones that give us tasty fruit. Rowan tree, willow, birch, apple, larch, oak. This is fantastic. You keep these trees coming in for the next minute, and then I'll tell you the story. And when we need the names of trees, we'll choose the trees from your list. That is perfect. Well done, everybody. Back to the story. Have that wiggle. Sit your sitting bones down comfortably. Take a deep breath, and we shall begin. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, when Mikku lived with his family on the edge of the forest in the heart of Scotland, his mother told him one day, "Mikku, I would like you to go into the forest and pick up dry, dead branches that have fallen from the trees and bring them back here so that we will have a nice fire tonight in the fireplace. We are out of firewood. You need to go and fetch some." Well, Mikku was quite a lazy boy. Mikku looked at his mum and stuck his lip out, and said to his mother, "No, Mum, I don't want to go and pick up firewood in the forest. I hate doing that. You bend down and you get a sore back, and then you pick up all those dry, dead, dirty tree branches, and you get scalps and splinters in your finger. I dunny want to do it, Ma." Well, his mother was not having any of this. "Mikku, if you would like a fire tonight and stay warm in the house, then you must go and fetch the firewood. No more excuses. You're a lazy boy. Go and fetch firewood." There was nothing else Mikku could do. He humphed and he moaned and he groaned and he went out the house in a stroppy mood. His mother was taking a basket of washing to hang on the washing line, and she wasn't paying him any attention. His father was in a field digging. Nobody was watching Mikku, and as Mikku passed the gate to their little house, he noticed his father's axe against the gate. I've got one here. Have a look. His father's chopping axe, the one he used to chop up logs for the fire. Well, Mikku was too young to use the axe because it was very sharp. But Mikku sneaked the axe from the gate, put it behind his back, and scurried off into the woodland before his mother or father saw what he was doing. Mikku thought to himself, "Ha ha! I've got my dad's axe. I'll just go into the woodlands in the forest and I'll find a big tree and I'll chop it down. And when I've chopped that tree down, I'll chop it up into wee pieces, logs, and I'll hide them in the bushes so that every time Mother sends me to get wood, I'll have my secret stash of logs and I'll just go and use them. Ha ha ha! I'm a clever boy." Do you think Mikku's a clever boy? No, he isn't. The forest floor is filled with branches that have fallen from the trees, and they're dried and they're ready for the fire. But to chop down a live tree, well, that was a stupid thing for him to do. So as he marched along, pleased with himself, looking for a tree to chop down, he came across a tall, straight tree, and he thought, "This tree is perfect. This one will do," he said. "I'm going to chop you down. Now, I'll look at your list of trees that you've said and choose one of the trees that you've put into my list." "Oh, but there's so many good trees. Which one should I go for?" "How about this? This is from Mrs. Gourlay and her class. They have said an apple tree." That's great. So Mikku went up to the tree. But because this is so long ago, this was before children like Mikku went to school. Schools hadn't even been invented yet. So Mikku wasn't clever like you. He didn't do any learning at school. He had no idea what sort of tree this was. He got his dad's axe, he raised it high above his head, and he brought the axe down, chop, into the trunk of the tree. But the tree yelled, "Stop!" Can you do that in your classroom? I'll count you in for 3. Can you do that in nursery? After 3, you yell stop. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Stop! Mikku got a fright. Oh, are you all back with me? Yes. Mikku got a fright when the tree shouted stop. "You're a talking tree. I've never heard a talking tree before. I didn't even know trees could talk. Oh, whoa. What kind of tree are you?" Do you remember what we chose? The tree replied, "I'm an apple tree." Can you do that in your classrooms after 3? 1, 2, 3. I'm an apple tree. That's good. Mikku just scratched his head again and said, "Oh, okay. Could you give me one good reason why I shouldn't chop an apple tree down?" Can you think of a good reason why Mikku should not chop the apple tree down? That's asking a lot to put it in the chat, but think in your classrooms, think with your group. Why shouldn't he chop an apple tree down? It would make good firewood, that's what Mikku thought. But can you think of any reason? Oh, Miss Hancock, because it's part of nature. Well done, your class. Miss Bradbury, it gives us fresh oxygen. And oxygen, that's what we breathe in, isn't it? To keep us alive. That's a good reason. No more apples, Mrs. Cardwell's class say. I suppose so. If you chop the tree down, the apples won't grow. That's a very good reason. One more. Oh, apples, you agree. You wouldn't get any more apples. We eat apples, Miss Murray says. Thank you. Oh, and what else have we got? Miss Reville, because it's alive. And if you chop it down, it would no longer be alive. Well done, everyone. One more. It's lovely. I have to say it. Mrs. Angus, because animals need trees to give them food to eat and for them to live in. Well done. Home to birds and beasties, Annabel Lilly. Thank you, Miss Gurley. It's not good for the environment, That's clever. You know about trees. Well done, everybody. These were the reasons the tree gave to Mikku for not to be chopped down. And Mikku said, all right, tree, I'll leave you to grow because I love apples. My mum makes me apple pie. Yum! And Mikku took his dad's axe and walked further into the forest. Okay, I won't chop down the apple tree. I'll just look for another tree to chop down. And on he strode through the forest to look for another tree. Then he came to one. He had no idea what sort of tree it was. He wasn't clever. He didn't go to school. And he went, this one is very tall. It smells nice, this one. I like the scent. And it's got sort of dark green needles on it. I doubt if this tree can talk. I'm going to chop it down. He raised his father's axe high and he brought it into the trunk of the tree. Chop! But again, the tree shouted, can you do it in your classrooms? Stop! Let me hear those trees. Stop! Good. Let's carry on with the story. Mikku went, oh my goodness, another talking tree. Wow, what a strange day this is. What sort of tree are you? Well, you put it into the chat. I'm a pine tree, the tree said. Well, pine tree, Miss Reed, well done. That was exactly right. A pine tree. Oh, okay, said Mikku. Well, why shouldn't I chop a pine tree down? Could you give me one good reason why I shouldn't chop a pine tree down? What do we think, pine trees? What's a good reason not to chop a pine tree down? They give us oxygen. Thank you, Miss Murray. Miss Dashwood. Trees take a long time to grow. Yes, they do. Remember that tree in the first example that was 5,000 years old. That's a lot longer than we're going to grow. A long time to grow. Pine tree, it's a living thing. If you chop it down, you've killed a living thing. These are wonderful reasons. Thank you, Miss Hancox. And Miss Robertson, pine cones. Animals, habitats. They smell nice, they do. And we use the scents at home to make us feel well. That's right. If you've got a cold, you can smell pine needles and pine oil. Beautiful. And some animals live in trees. Squirrels. Thank you, Miss Ross. Squirrels live in trees. And squirrels, we've got more squirrels. Thank you, Miss Harrell. And we need them to make pine needle tea. Say P2, P3. Pine needle tea? A cup of tea that you drink with pine needles? I've never tried that. Is it tasty? Is it delicious? It will be very good for your colds and your sinuses and your throat. I'll try that. Thank you very much, PT2, P3. And you can eat the buds before the pine cones grow. That's a very nice thing to do. I think we must have some eco schools and forest school children here and classes. Well done. They're evergreen, Miss Bradbury says. That means they stay green every month of the year and they don't lose their needles in the winter. That's important, isn't it? That's where the animals and the birds need homes, say P2. Thank you, Miss Reed. Correct. Well done, everybody. And they give us oxygen, the most important reason of all. Those are enough reasons, thought Mikku, not to chop the pine tree down. Okay, pine tree, I'll leave you growing. I'll go and find another tree to chop down. He's not learning, is he? Off he stomped through the forest looking for another tree. Oh, he said, I've walked so far. There's a tree. I don't think that one can talk. It's slim, so it's not big. It'll be easy to chop down. And it's got a sort of papery bark, and it's a sort of white, silvery colour, and very delicate branches. This one will chop down easily. He raised his axe high, his father's axe, and he brought it down into the trunk of the tree. Chop! But the tree yelled, are you ready? Stop! Well done. Oh, Mikku said, "Not another talking tree. Oh, what sort of tree are you?" You've guessed, haven't you? Mrs. Robertson, Miss Popham, Mrs. Cardwell, Miss Sims' classes have all said a silver birch tree. Well done. With its papery silver bark, it's the lady of the forest, the silver birch. I'm a silver birch. Please don't chop me down. And Mikku said, "Oh, why shouldn't I chop a silver birch down? What's so special about you? Can you give me one good reason why I shouldn't chop you down?" Miss Ray, Katrina Ray has said from Keep Scotland, beautiful, perfect for making canoes. A canoe? Do you all know what a canoe is? Yes, it's the boat that we sit in and paddle. I didn't know you made canoes from silver birch, Miss Ray. Of course, I think you might be from Canada, the home of the birch and the canoe. Fabulous. Thank you for telling us that. Oh, what else? The wood is beautiful, says Mrs. Cardwell's class. It is. It's very attractive. It's silver and it glows in the moonlight. Beautiful. And it's rare to find. Well, yes, it's get them planted around your schools. Then it'll be not so rare. That would be lovely. And it makes air for us. It does. Oxygen. Mini beasts, Mrs. Robertson says, live in the bark. Mini beasts need a home. And the bark can be used as tinder. That's very good. And it's just beautiful, says Miss Ross's class. You can make the sap into a syrup and the wood makes paper. Very clever, Mrs. Roberts. Thank you very much for those very smart answers. And Mrs. Robertson, roots bind soil and stop flooding. Oh, Mrs. Robertson, that's a very important point. The roots of the tree keep the soil steady and stable so that when it rains hard, it doesn't just all wash into the rivers and flood our houses and our football pitches. It keeps it from flooding. We need this tree, don't we, everybody? And when the tree told Mikku some of these reasons not to chop it down, oh, it is illegal to cut them down in the UK without permission. Thank you, Miss Reed. There, the trees are so important, we even have laws to protect them. Thank you so much. Owls live in birch trees. Well done. Okay. Oh, you are clever. You are much cleverer than the boy in this story, Mikku. Mikku scratched his head and he said, "Okay, I get it, silver birch tree. You're an important tree. Just like all the other trees, there seem to be a lot of good reasons why I shouldn't chop you down. Okay, I'm not going to chop you down. I tell you what, I think I'll just do what my mum told me to do. I'll walk back through the forest and I'll pick up the dried branches that have already fallen off the trees." So Mikku put his dad's axe down and he gave up looking for a tree to chop down. He started to bend down, picking up the many fallen branches that had dried in the sun over the years they'd fallen, and he put them into like a big stack that was over his back. But as he walked along, something very odd happened. From behind a tree stepped a strange-looking little man. Mikku had never seen anybody like him. He was a very short man with a grey tangled beard full of bits of moss and lichen. And the little man was wearing caps made of the acorns from an oak tree. He had silver birch leggings and arms and a waistcoat made of heather and straw, and his shoes were made of thistledown. "I've never seen anyone like you before," said Mikku. And the little man smiled and said, "Oh no, I've been watching you carefully, Mikku, and I want to give you this." And he handed a little wooden wand towards Mikku. "This, Mikku, is a present from me to you because you didn't chop down my trees." Well, Mikku was dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say or what to do. He eventually stuttered, I don't need any more sticks, thank you. I've got plenty in my sack for firewood. Oh, no, said the little man. This isn't firewood, Mikku. This is a magic stick. Mikku, I'm giving you this as a present. You were a good boy and you left my trees to grow. So what you could do with this magic wand is get anything you want from nature. See, this is a natural magic stick. For instance, imagine you wanted a honeycomb from the bees. Just use the stick and ask the bees and they'll bring you the honeycomb. Or for instance, the birds. Imagine you want the big ripe cherries at the top of the cherry tree. Ask the birds to fetch them for you. Wave the magic stick and they'll bring them to you. Oh, said Mikku, really? It's magic? Oh, okay then, thank you very much, little man. And Mikku put it carefully in his belt where he wouldn't lose it, and when he turned to look at the little man, he'd vanished back into the trees. But then a voice called out from the woods, Mikku, Mikku, one thing about your magic stick. You must never use it for anything unnatural. Anything that goes against nature. Only things that are good and natural. And the wee voice disappeared into the woods. And Mikku thought, right, okay, I'm going home with this and my firewood. He rushed back home. He dumped the load of fallen sticks and twigs in the hearth for the fire, and he went outside to try out his magic twig. Now, what do you think? Do you think it really was a magic twig? Mikku wasn't sure either. He gave it a go. One of his mother's chickens was walking past, and Mikku pointed the magic twig at it and said, Chicken, chicken, lay me an egg. Said the chicken, and plop, she laid the biggest, freshest egg you've ever seen. Oh, said Mikku, it's real, this really is magic. And he ran about wishing for everything he could from nature. In your classrooms, what would you use your magic twig to ask nature for? Now, it was so long ago, it's before we had toys and sweetie shops, so he wasn't going to get them. The closest he could get to a sweetie would be the fruit and the cherries and the honey. Mikku. Oh yes, cherries and apples, honey. Yes, in come your answers. Make lots of pine cones. Oh yes, they smell good. They're good for us to breathe in. That's a very good one. And when they're dried out, they're good to start the fire. Get more trees around. He could make the trees grow all around. Very good. Pears. Oh yes, please. Tasty. Flowers and honey. Jam and pancakes. Yes, yes. Well, now that's an interesting one, jam and pancakes. And I'll tell you why. Rose-scented flowers make the weather sunny. Yes, we've got sunny weather at the minute, haven't we? Come back to that one. On with the story. He used that stick for everything you're saying. But he also started to get lazy because of his stick. He could sell the eggs, and his cow gave the milk, and it was creamier than everybody else's because he used his stick to get more and creamier milk. And he used it to get lots of honey and lots of apple and, oh, yum, lots of nuts. Very good. Oh, and there were always rainbows when the sun came and the rain came. But he used that stick to become rich. He got richer and richer, selling everything at market. But as he grew older and grew richer, he also started to boss everybody about. He told people what to do. He became arrogant, conceited. People didn't like Mikku, but they were scared of him because he was so rich and powerful with his magic stick. Do you know, he could plant his fields with grain, and the little moles would go and dig the field for him. He didn't have to lift the spade. We'll dig it for you, Mikku. Yeah. And when it came to planting the grain, he would wave his stick. Ants, insects, plant my seeds. And the little ants and the insects would take seeds and plant them. So Mikku sat at home every day, giving out orders to everyone. But then one day, one terrible cold winter's day, he was freezing and he went outside and he slipped in the ice and he went, "Oh, I hate this weather. I don't like the cold." And he forgot completely what the little man of the woods had said. Never use your stick for anything that goes against nature. He forgot completely. He grabbed his stick, he pointed it at the sky and said, "Sunshine, come out from behind the clouds and shine on me. I want to be hot, hot, hot." And immediately the sun did come out from behind the clouds in Scotland in the middle of the winter and began to shine down hard and hot on Mikku. He took off his jacket, he rolled up his trouser legs, sat in a deck chair in the garden and called, "Mum, bring me a nice lemonade." Hot sunshine in the middle of winter in Scotland, is that natural? Is that going against nature? It is. And the sun kept beating down so hard on Mikku, so ferociously, like an inferno, intense heat. "Oh," said Mikku, "it's maybe too hot. Oh, oh, oh." And then kapow! He melted with the sun until he was evaporated and gone. No more Mikku and no more stick. They vanished in the heat. And I'm sorry to tell you, from that day on, Mikku was gone, but the trees decided never to talk to human beings again. They stopped speaking and communicating with us. They said that we had abused the gifts of nature. Mikku had taken advantage of the gifts he had been given, and therefore they would not talk to us any more. But if you go out amongst the trees, wherever you are and wherever the trees grow around you, if you walk quietly without speaking and you can hear the wind in the tops of the trees, listen carefully and you might just hear them saying and whispering together, "If you look after us, we'll look after you. If you look after us, we'll look after you." Can you say it together in your classrooms after 3? If you look after us, we'll look after you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. If you look after us, we'll look after you. One more time. If you look after us, we'll look after you. And that is the story of Mikku and the trees. Thank you. Thank you for joining in with all your wonderful answers.
That was an amazing story. I really enjoyed that. It's such a great message as well, because everything in nature is connected. You're right. We need to look after nature, and in return, it will look after us. I was totally caught off guard there I was so invested in the story. I was like, oh, right, that's me now. Thank you so much for telling that story.
Can I tell you where I found the story originally?
Yes, please.
When I started storytelling a long time ago, it's one of the first tree stories I heard another Scottish storyteller telling. And she then told me that she had found the story in a book by an American storyteller. It's a very old folk tale from Estonia, but Margaret Reed MacDonald, who's a librarian, a teacher, and a storyteller in America, she collects folk tales, and she put this beautiful Estonian folk tale, Mikku and the Trees, in this book. This is no longer in print, but that was my second-hand copy. However, I know how clever you all are and that you will remember that story and be able to tell it, probably without the book, but that's where I found it. Thanks, Katrina.
I love the tradition of passing stories on like that. You found a story from someone else and then you've added your own bits and you've told the story to us. And now maybe we can go home after school today and share that with our families at home too.
Yes.
And also something else. Oh, sorry. Yes, please continue.
tell me when to bring this person in.
Ah, yes. So we have a wee task for everyone to do. Sorry, I'm just going to get, there we go. So now that you've heard the story of Mikku and the trees, we would love for you to find a place to look after nature and create your own nature guardian to look after it. So Alison, I think you have one, and I'm just going to have a look at my camera here to make sure you can see. There we go. I have this little guy that you can see in the picture there. I've got him with me here today. And you can see he's made of sticks that were found on the ground, not cut off a tree, and pieces of bark that had fallen off a tree as well. And he's tied together with string. Here you can see at the back, and he has moss for hair. He's very cool. Let's back up a bit so you can see him. Right, so he is a nature guardian, and he will look after a place that you love. So you can find a place to look after, maybe in the corner of your school grounds or a nearby park, a nice piece of woodland that you like to visit for school, and he will look after it. You can create your own nature guardian too. And there's a resource for teachers to help with this on the website. And my colleague Nicola, who made this little guy here, has just put the link in the chat. And if you send us a picture of your nature guardian, we'll put it in a competition and you could win some wildflower seeds for your school grounds and a copy of Alison's amazing book, Dancing with Trees, Eco Tales from the British Isles. And you can see all of the details about the competition on our website. Alison, I think you have a nature guardian to show us too.
Yes, but I'm embarrassed now. Your nature guardian is just like the one in the story. It's completely made of natural things from the forest with a little face on it.
Well, I was string.
Yeah, mine's a bit more fancy than that. Can you see
That's
this,
okay.
dude? The reason mine's got some things from the craft cupboard in, I was working in a forest at the weekend and we were telling this story, and the children and their families were making their stick nature guardians. But because there were so many of us, we didn't want to take everything from the forest. So we used our craft feathers and we used a bit of drying clay for the little face, which was easy. I used some weeds from my garden that were being pulled up. We found moss lying on the ground. We wouldn't take live moss, so we stuck it on the back. We had some sheep's wool from the fence, and so this was our little nature guardian. I think the very natural one possibly looks better, but just in case you don't have enough bits and pieces around the school, I bet you've all got some things in your craft box as well. So there is my little guardian of the forest.
One of the great things about this little guy here is that when we're all done admiring him, we can put him back in Nicola's garden where he came from. So all the little bits and pieces can go back in. The other thing too is when you send in your picture of your nature guardian, please can you suggest a name for him, because he's been living in our office and we don't have a name for him yet. So we would love to hear your suggestions for a wee name for him. And anyway, we're almost done. So remember, we would always love to see your photos of your nature guardians or anything else that you get up to during Natural Scotland Week. So please make sure that you send in your photos by 2 p.m. on Thursday if you'd like us to include them in our assembly on Friday. And if you share your work on social media, just tag us in. We'll share photos from public accounts at our assembly too. We also would really, really value your feedback on our live lessons. They help us improve and they help us to find topics that you're interested in for future lessons. So please complete this very short feedback form and tell us what you enjoyed and what you'd like to see more of. And this is for pupils and for teachers both. On Friday, please join us for our assembly, including a quiz on what you've learned this week and a big display of all of the work that you have sent to us. And we hope you can be there. Thank you so much, Alison, for your lovely stories. I always love hearing your stories. You're such a good narrator, and you're such, I just love your writing and all of the pictures that you've put in our heads with your stories. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. I hope we can see you on Friday for our assembly. That's all we have time for today. So bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.